And we are live. Hello friends. It's been a minute. Pete Moriarty here. On this channel, we help small business owners systemize, organize, and scale using Google Workspace and other tech tools. Now, if you miss me, well, I've been traveling and holidaying. We've still been putting videos out on the channel, but I haven't had a chance to stream. Well, I'm back. I'm in the studio and plenty to get through. So looking forward to it. I even picked up, look at this, a new camera. So I've got a front-facing view now with a better camera. But here we are, and I'm going to be sharing with you what is all the latest in Google Workspace with your questions. I mean, we're going to do an updates video soon. I'll do that on stream sometime soon. But I'm going to be covering your questions here. Lots of new stuff. I haven't looked at the questions yet. I like to kind of capture them on my first inspiration. But lots of questions in queue. We'll get through them. If you're not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Lots of exciting stuff coming up in IT Genius land, and yeah, we'll let you know about that soon on the channel. But some stuff that is already launched and is already out there, if you want to go and check it out, head along to itgenius.com. Oh, I'm on the wrong profile here. Head along to itgenius.com, and you go to our site. This is free, by the way, so anyone can do this. You just go ahead, hit the login button. You just got to log in with your Google email address. Can be a Gmail address, can be whatever you want. Just give it a second to log in. There we go. And head along to the training section. We have just launched and released the brand new Gemini for Business training section. So go and check that out. Share it with your team. All of our best Gemini tutorials are here. That's a little bit zoomed in, isn't it? Anyway, all of our best Gemini tutorials are here. How to use all of the features, every single feature, up to date as of literally a couple of weeks ago. So go ahead and check those out. That's free and available on itgenius.com. Just head on to the training tab and you'll be able to access that. Pretty cool, isn't it? There we go. Getting all of our best stuff out there for free. If you're a concierge member, you can even join our sessions live. They're called office hours. And they are basically a live call with me. If you want to catch up with me, ask me your questions personally, have me troubleshoot with you live, and they end up being usually an hour or two. They're quite long calls. We go into a lot of depth together. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and check that out. But without further ado, we're going to get into your questions now. Lots of questions being submitted. If you want to put your question in, go to ask.itgenius.com. There's even a QR code here if you want to go direct, but it's ask.itgenius.com, and that will get you access to this question panel, and you can go ahead and drop your questions in, and you can see it's a democratic system. You can upvote your favorite questions, and they will come to the top, and I'm going to answer the most popular ones. So go ahead and check that out. Let me know what you'd like to know about Google Workspace, about small businesses using technology, and I'll hopefully cover your question in a live stream. Although I'm getting to a lot of questions here, I don't know if I'm going to actually get through all of them these days, but we'll see how we go, huh? We'll make our best effort. All right, so our first question today is from Johnny. Let me go ahead and highlight this. I always forget how to hit the highlight button. Here we go. And Johnny asks, is there a way to sync a shared drive on Google Drive with a local folder on my PC? This would be similar to how I can use the Google Drive Stream Sync software to sync my drive with a local PC folder. Well, that's a great question, Johnny. And if most people are new to shared drives, many people who have been using a Gmail address forever might be new. Using shared drives is a feature inside of a business account, which lets you have a bit like a, let's call it a server drive, to do more with your sharing. So your My Drive inside of Google Drive is for your stuff. Think about that like your My Documents on a computer. That's where you store your things. Now you can share things from there. You can just right click, you hit the share button, you share a document, you share a folder with someone even. But a shared drive is something special. A shared drive is not owned by anyone, it's owned by the company. And a shared drive is controlled by the company, and you can set certain permissions if you want to lock down not only who has access, but what they can do as well. So if you want, you can let your staff put files into a shared drive, but not take files out. You can share a shared drive across multiple domains. So if you want to share to someone who's outside your company or outside your domain, they can access it. That even works for Gmail accounts as well, which is pretty cool. Not for Microsoft accounts, but most people have a Gmail account these days. And this question is asking, well, do shared drives work with Google Drive for desktop? And the good news is, yes, they do. So if you're on a computer, whether you're on a Windows machine or a Mac, I happen to be on a Mac today, so I'll demo this on a Mac. You can access shared drives via either the Finder on a Mac or Windows Explorer on a PC. And if you're on a Chromebook, it also works on Chrome OS as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on a Mac. Apologies, it's a little bit small. I can't really change that for the demo, unfortunately. There used to be a button I can click, but I don't quite know how to do that right now. Anyway, let's go ahead and show you what Google Drive looks like on my Mac. So first of all, I want to sign into Google Drive, right? So I hit the Google Drive icon here, and oh, looks like the app has changed. And I've even got 7 errors there. Okay, there must be some synchronization issues, but I'll deal with those later. And you can see here I've got a number of different accounts that I've got synchronized with my Google Drive sync. So this account is my personal account. It's a Google Workspace account, but I use it for personal reasons. It's because I want to have something outside of my business that's separate to IT Genius. And obviously my IT Genius account is my main business account, right? So that's got all of my businessy, worky type information in there. Now you can have multiple accounts here. If I wanted to add a Gmail account as well, I could also add a Gmail account. So once I synchronize it and set it up, I'm going to have to find my way through the options here. You can choose how you synchronize, what you synchronize, whether or not you sync photos, blah, blah, blah. I think it's all, yeah, pretty much the same as it's always been there. It just looks like a visual design change they've made. But once you download the app, you sign into your account. That's pretty much all you have to do. Now you'll see everything in your Google Drive on your computer. On the left-hand side, in my Finder window here, I'm going to expand that a little bit. You'll see I've got multiple Google Workspace accounts synchronized to my computer. This would also work for a Gmail account as well. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into one of these. I'll go into my business one here, and you'll see immediately I've got not only my drive, but I also have shared drives as well. So that lets me know that I've got all the stuff that's sitting in my drive, all that junk. And then I've got my shared drives, and that includes drives from my company. And we put the little eye icon there to know that it's IT Genius. And then there's also other ones as well. So there's other files from other businesses. Now, when I access these on the web, I can actually see a little bit more information. When I go to shared drives on the web, I can actually see which company they're owned by. So you can see some of these shared drives are owned by different companies or organizations. And I can see that on the web, but not on my local computer. That's okay, not to worry. That's why we use the little emojis so we know what's what. And shared drives acts the same way that my drive does. If I want to open a file, all I need to do is click through, find the right file, and if it's something like maybe a PDF, I can double click and it will immediately open that file. Now, it's downloading that in the background, and it's doing that in real time. Now, I've got a pretty fast internet connection, but that was a 5 megabyte file, and it downloaded it pretty much instantly and opened it on my computer. You can see the little cloud icon here, and this is a Mac feature, but Windows has something similar as well. And that shows me the status of these files. Have they been downloaded to my computer in a local copy or not? Now, if I wanted to download something, really easy, I can just click these download buttons, and it's going to download it to my computer. It's not necessarily going to keep it there forever. It's just going to cache a copy or keep a temporary copy on my computer until it decides that I don't need it anymore. Maybe my hard drive gets a bit full, or maybe it decides that, you know what, Peter hasn't used this file in a year. Let's put it back on the cloud and we'll remove the local copy. Now, Google just does automatically all of this via AI. You can't really control it. But if you do want a file to be available offline and you want to force it to always be available offline, that's pretty straightforward. You just right click on the file, you find your Google Drive options here, and you choose to make available offline. Now, it might look a tiny bit different on a Windows computer or on a Chromebook, but fundamentally Google Drive works the same on all devices. You right click, you choose to keep it offline, and you can see there's a very small green tick box here, which means that that is saved offline. And even if my hard drive is running out of space, it's going to keep it there. That will definitely keep every single one of those files offline. So you've got two options. You've got the temporary option. If you've got a good internet connection, you can just go to any one of these files and just double click and open it. Let's try. I saw a video there. It's 90 megabytes. Let's double click that and see how long it takes to download. And you'll see the little icon changing here as it downloads that file. That should be pretty darn quick. It seems to be moving through quickly. All right, here we go. The file has opened. So that's how we work with shared drives locally. This all happens automatically when you install the Google Drive app. And you can see here, it also works for my other Workspace accounts in tandem. You can run multiple accounts at the same time. And anything I drag and drop into these shared drives is going to upload into my Google Drive. And then eventually I'll see the same thing online. So there you go. If you want to get shared drive synchronized down to your local machine, it works just like your My Drive works. Install the app, and then you choose which data you want to keep saved offline. But for anything else, you can always open it from anywhere at any time. As long as you've got an internet connection, it'll download it on the fly and allow you to open that file. Nice little trick, Google. Thank you very much. And we'll say hello to a few of the people on stream. Thank you so much for joining. If you're here live, great to have you here. Great to have your company. Thanks for joining. Always great to have you. And if you've got questions, I'm looking at the wrong camera now. If you've got questions, go ahead and drop them in ask.itgenius.com, or you can drop them into the live YouTube chat if you want. But definitely say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. And let me know if you've been around here for a while or if you're new to the channel. You're always welcome to be here. Grateful to have you here. All right, so I'm going to find my most recent ones. All right, cool. Just to make sure I don't miss any if someone adds one on stream. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our next question. How do I create a group that consists of users from different OUs and require that the users of the group must be two-step verification enrolled before joining? Well, this is an interesting question because Google have some interesting group features. Some of those are policy-based, some of those are security-based. And there's been an upgrade to groups recently, which I haven't fully explored myself, which will allow you to take a group of staff and apply a policy to that group. Now, usually you could only apply policies to what's called an OU, or an organizational unit. And an organizational unit is where you have a collection of users in your structure of users, but they can only live in one organizational unit at a time. If you add people to a group, well, they can be a member of multiple groups at the same time. What this person's asking for is to apply a policy, which would normally be applied to an OU, to a group. And to be honest, I'm not sure if that's possible. My strong recommendation would be that every single person in your company has two-factor authentication enabled for their account. I think you're a bit crazy if you don't have it enforced for every single person in the company. But just for argument's sake, let's see if we can get this to work. Let's see if we can apply settings to a group, and let's see if we can apply this setting to a group. I don't think it's going to work. But let's see how we go. I might get some help with Gemini with this one, just to see how it goes. All right, and Mike's on stream. Hello from Ohio. I'm new to the channel. G'day, Mike. Thank you so much for being here. Great to have you here. All right, so we're going to go into our admin panel where we do everything. And we're going to go and have a look at our groups. And let me show you the difference between OUs and groups. In our directory, when we go to users, it's going to show you all of the organizational units on the side here. You can see lots of different OUs set up. There's a test account, so the team go a bit nuts with it. And each user can only exist in one of these at a time. So if I wanted to grab one of these users, I'd grab the user, and then I would choose to change organizational unit, and I can drop them into any one of these units. Now, when we apply settings, we apply them either at the top level or we apply them to organizational units. And so let's say, for example, I wanted to go into my Chrome settings. Manage browser is probably a good idea, or I think it's in settings actually, not manage browser. Okay, let's go to Chrome settings. And let's say I wanted to set a home page for everyone, right? I wanted to set the home page. I'd go in here, easy just to search. Here we go. So I can control the home page for my staff. Now notice that right now, this is being applied to the top level OU, right? That one's highlighted, so it's applying it to absolutely everyone. And if I want to apply it just to a certain set of staff, I might say, all right, I just want to apply it to the board. I can apply that just to the board. Now, if I change this, which I should because that's the wrong URL anyway, and I hit save, this should ask me, do I want to override the top level setting? But for some reason, it doesn't have an override button. Where's the override button? Okay, that's the policy at the top level, and then let's go back to board. Okay, it's got a different policy there. So maybe they've changed the interface, but usually it'll pop up and say, "Hey, do you want to override the inherited?" Oh, here's the problem. Okay, so you can either choose for it to be inherited, or I guess in effect by us changing it, that actually overrode it. But there used to be a button that actually it literally said override when you change it. So let me see. Let's go back to board. All right, let's see if I can change it. Okay, they seem to have changed the terminology. We're going to have to re-record all of our training videos. Anyway, but you get the idea. I change a setting. It's going to apply this setting just at the OU level, at the sub OU level. It's not going to apply it right at the top level. Cool. All right, that's pretty straightforward. But what this person is asking for here is, can we apply these kinds of settings to a group? Your groups live in the directory under groups, and groups are where we create groups of staff. And so, for example, if I wanted to create a group for the board, let's go ahead and do that. And let's use, I think, Test Genius. Okay, and this button here, to easily identify and manage groups you apply policies to, such as access control, add the security label to them. Now, you need to switch on this security button for the groups which you wish to apply policies to. Remember, I haven't done this before, but this is just what I've read in the manual when I read it. And let's see here. Should this be a locked group? No, we don't need that. All right. Let's see what would be most appropriate for access. I'm going to make this a restricted group because if it's permissions based, then I probably want to keep this restricted, and I would say only invited users. Well, I guess restricted, invited. No, let's stick to invited. Okay, great. And then allow members outside your organization. No, we don't need anyone there. Okay. Member restriction, we don't need that. Let's create our group. Okay, so we've got our group set up, and my little spidey eyes actually saw something when we were managing our settings. I'm going to go back to our settings now, but this time I'm going to go to our two-factor authentication settings, which is inside security. So security and then authentication, two-step verification. And here we go. This is interesting. On the left-hand side, what I can see is we can apply these settings to our top level, right? To the top level of the company. Now, strangely, this is not yet enforced for every single person in the company, which is a good idea. And this is a test account, but for argument's sake, let's go ahead and enable this for everyone. And my recommendation is that I think I'm going to give them lots of grace period to get this done. My recommendation is that you give your team a week to get their act together and get their two-step verification set up if you're going to enforce it. Also, I would recommend that once a new user is set up, you give them time to enroll themselves. And this grace period here is how long do they have if they're a new user to set up for two-step, you want to give them probably about a week to do that. I think is usually a good idea. Now, my strong recommendation is that you go for this one here. Methods, any except verification codes via text and phone call. It's not a good idea to let people use texting or phone calls for two-step verification anymore, because if someone wants to launch a sophisticated attack, it's unfortunately just too easy for someone to take a copy of a bill or a copy of your passport that they've found somehow and call your phone provider, get your phone number routed to a new SIM card that they control, and then if they have your email password, boom, they're into your account because they can get text messages on your behalf. So we want to avoid that kind of thing. We want to force everyone to use an authentication app. And for that, we choose the second button here. So any method of verification except for text or phone call, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit save there. Now, I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can send it to my team later, because they need to know that I've enrolled everyone or going to be enforcing that in a week. That's important for you to do as well. So we've got our organizational units here. We've got our global settings for the company. They sit at this top level. And on the left-hand side here, I can see that there's actually an option to apply some settings to groups. Now, as I said, I haven't tested this before, but let's try it. So let's go to board group. This is a security group, so I'm going to click it here. And let's see if we can change anything for the board group. So I'm assuming, because we've set up our settings at the the organizational level, that's the top level of everything. I'm assuming that when I set these settings for the board group, it's going to act like an override. It's going to apply it just for that board group, or apply the ones that I changed just for the board group. Now, if someone's in two groups and there's two settings that are different, that conflict with each other, I want to know how that works. I don't know, maybe we'll test that, but let's see. So I've got the board group here. I'm going to try and change my settings. I'm going to say, okay, if you're in the board group, there's no enforcement. And this is, all right, going to be an interesting experiment. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so it's saying settings saved. I want to go back to my main group here. Okay, so for everyone it's switched on, but if you're in the board group, it's switched off. Well, very interesting. Well, now I should be in the board group. To test that, let's go back to my user directory here, and I'll go to the board group and just check that I'm in there. Yes, I am. Wonderful. Okay, so now I can go to my account, and my two-step verification settings are in my account. I go to security, and then here we go. Two-step verification is on. Let's see if I can turn it off. Okay. Now, interestingly, it does say that two-step verification is required and can't be turned off. Well, that's interesting. It's possible that's because I'm a super administrator on the account. But let's try creating a new user and we'll add them to the board group. All right, so we'll create Peter2. Grab this password, and let's try an incognito. Now, before we do that, probably a good idea that we make sure they're in the right group as well as the right organizational unit. So let's double check they've landed in the org unit. You've got to refresh in the admin panel because often things will take a moment to appear. There we go. We've got the user in the right place. And let's try, let's see what happens. The main policy should be applied for them. So let's see what happens. All right. Mohammed Hussein, welcome. Yes, you are welcome to ask questions. Go ahead and drop it in. All right, so I'm going to go and accept this. Just create a new password there. All right, now it's asking me to sign in. I'm gonna skip this two-factor and see if I can get away without that. You don't have access to Gmail. Okay, that's all right. Don't need that right now. I'm gonna go to my Google account. Let's check with security. And is it going to enforce me to set up two-step verification? Okay, so it's prompting me to do it, but no enforcement yet. Okay, interesting. So all seems pretty good. All seems pretty good now. What if I try a little trick? See if I can lock myself out. Because usually to lock someone out, what you do is you switch on two-factor authentication before they've set it up, or you switch on the enforcement before they've set it up. So let's go and do that. So let's go to two-step verification, and maybe for people in board, let's enforce it for right now. All right, so no enrollment period, enforce from right now. Let's switch it on. Now, this might take a second to deploy, but I'm curious if it kicks out this user. I've got a feeling I might need to open that tab again. Let's see how this goes. Let's go ahead and log in. Oops, wrong user. There we go. All right. Now, interestingly, I'm being given the policy of the main company-wide policy rather than what we thought was the override policy. Don't know exactly why that's happening. It's possible because an enforcement policy overrides an unenforcement policy. Maybe that's what it is. Let's maybe ask Gemini, because I think we've done about as much as we can on the test. And let's call for backup. I'm a Google Workspace administrator, and when I create a security group and apply settings to it for two-factor authentication, they don't seem to be overriding the two-factor authentication settings set at the top level OU for the domain. Can you explain if the group-based policies override the domain and OU-based policies, or is something else going on that I'm missing? All right, let's see what Gemini says. Now, if you're wondering what app I use for dictation, it's called Flow, Whisper Flow it's actually called, which is an excellent dictation app. It uses AI to clean up your sentences and all that kind of stuff. You can see here it does all the punctuation and everything. Okay, so let's let this think about it. I'm using Gemini Pro, which takes a little bit longer to process questions, but you'll see here it actually thinks about it and processes the answers in multiple steps. So you get very, very good answers out of it. Okay, great. So security group policies designed to override, including for 2FA. Okay. Policy precedents, inherited from top down. Configuration group policies are designed to be the exception to the rule. Okay, so the group setting will take precedence over the OU setting. Interesting. Okay, it must be a configuration group. How do I create? Yeah, security group. Yep, we've done that. Yep, we've done the groups filter. Here we go. Okay, wonderful. This is going to answer my question I had earlier. For members, if someone's a member of more than one configuration group with the same policy, the group with the highest priority, the group with the highest priority. The priority is determined by the order with which the groups are listed. Okay, well that answers that question. We know how to work out priority on the groups. That's great. And drag and drop groups to order their priority. Nice, Google have made it very easy. They do not always take effect instantaneously. I've got a feeling that is what the problem is. Okay, so group policy should override the OU policy. All right, so all my assumptions were correct, and there is a mechanism for managing the order of precedence, which is great. So let's try one more time. And let's see if this group is going to override the main control. Oops. Okay. Pop in our password. Oh, okay. Still giving me this one. Now, I don't know if this is just because it's a particular policy that I have implemented that is just not being picked up by the group settings, or if I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to let my team finish off and edit to this video and release it on the channel with more information about exactly what's going on here. I don't know exactly what's going on, but we will work it out. But that's a great question. Thank you very much to the asker. Sorry, I couldn't get that done on stream, but we will certainly get that answered properly and get that up on the channel for you. All right. I think we've got some questions on stream, so let me cover some questions on stream. All right, cool. Yeah, Mike, that's great. I make you feel... That's what I'm here for. I do dumb things to make people feel less dumb. Exactly. All right. So we've got lots of questions coming through. How can I get my money in Google? Okay. How can I get... I don't think I can help you with that one. Sorry. I can help you a lot with Google Workspace, but I can't help you much with that. Anyway. All right. Let's go. But if you're looking for ways to make money online, I can't recommend any. But I don't know. Maybe you could try Gemini or something like that, or YouTube. There's lots of people on YouTube who can help you with that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next question. That's a great question. Thank you, Anonymous, for that one. Okay, I'm going to do this one really quickly because I have covered it differently. Whoops, wrong camera. Email marketing on Gmail. So I've covered this before. If you search the channel, I'm certain that I've made some great videos on it. If you search, no, marketing is probably better. Email's not going to be very helpful. Here we go, using Gmail for email marketing. All right, so go ahead, check that one out. Bulk sending email. There's lots of videos that I've already got on this. The short version is, and my team might turn this into a short or something. The short version is you can use email for small amounts of email marketing. And by that, I mean, if you're sending to 500 people or less, it's probably okay. Anything more than that, and you start to run into limits, there are daily limits inside your Google Workspace account for how many emails you can send per user and how many emails you can send right across the business. If you start hitting those limits, Google may flag you for spam. They may shut down your account in the worst case scenario. But what's more likely is it's just going to be annoying and maybe some of your customers are not going to get some of your emails. So if you are doing bulk emails that are mass emails for marketing purposes, it probably makes sense to use a dedicated mail sending tool of some sort. You can start with something simple like MailChimp, absolutely fine, no issue at all. Deliverability is fine as long as you configure your DNS correctly. Reach out to itgenius.com if you need a hand with that. But using one of those tools is going to be your best bet. Now, if you have 100 customers or 200 customers and you want to send them a price list update or a happy Christmas message or something simple, sure, send it through Gmail. Super easy to do. You can use a spreadsheet. There's a mass mail tool in Gmail now, so you can click one button and send emails straight out of Gmail. They don't give you things like tracking how many people opened the email. People do have the option to unsubscribe, but it's not a very sophisticated email sending system. If you need to just send an email out to 100 or so people, yeah, sure, it's great for that. There's also add-ons in the Gmail App Store. Let me say that again. In the Google Workspace Marketplace, which allow you to do mail merges. Now, my favorite one is called Yet Another Mail Merge. If you search for YAMM, Yet Another Mail Merge is a great mail merge tool, and that'll take information from a spreadsheet and do a few basic analytics like tracking how many people opened it, tracking how many people clicked on your email. I still use that sometimes if I need to do a really small send to just a specific number of people from a spreadsheet, and I want it to come literally from my mailbox. But for most of our marketing emails, we're using a dedicated email sender, and that is my recommendation for you as well. All right, cool. Good question though. Good question. All right, let's look at the next one. Check out comments. All right, no more comments. That's good. All right, let's go to the next one. So, any idea how to configure workspace groups on Outlook Classic? Oh, God. Workspace groups. Shit. That's a good one. I'm assuming this person is talking about distribution groups. So when you set a distribution group in your directory, you set up groups, they act with multiple, I won't say two, there's many uses for them, but there's two main uses for them. Number one is you put users in a group, and with that group that's there, you can start sharing resources with that group. So you can share a shared drive with that group, use it for permissions. You can share pretty much anything in your Google Workspace account that you can share with an individual user, you can share with a group as well. So very, very handy for that kind of thing. I've got many videos on the channel covering groups, search groups. I'll tell you all about it. Next is you can use this as what in the email world is called a distribution list. And what that means is this email address, which happens to be tied to the group, can also receive emails and can receive emails from people outside your company as well. So someone sends an email to that group, we're calling it here a distribution group, and it automatically puts that email in everybody's inboxes. Now, this email acts a little bit like an alias rather than a mailbox. If you come from the Microsoft world, you're probably used to groups like this having a mailbox for themselves dedicated, and you could open Outlook and attach that mailbox to your Outlook file, and you'd be able to access the group mailbox. Well, Google doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So there isn't a distinct individual mailbox here that you can attach into your Outlook, because this acts as a virtual alias, which just sends a copy of every email sent to it to each of the individual mailboxes of the users that live in the group. So what do you do if you want to have a group-based email address that you can access and manage, or maybe collaborate on with your team? We would refer to that as a collaborative mailbox. So there's a few different ways of doing that. Check out the other videos on our channel for in-depth guides on the different types and how they work. But if you set up a shared mailbox, as in you pay for a license, you set up another user account, and you share access to that mailbox via the delegation feature to other users in your company, you could, if you wanted to, access that mailbox in a discrete way in Outlook. Now, it's been about a decade since I did it, but from memory, you could click a button and actually have delegated mailboxes appear in your Outlook alongside your existing mailbox. I don't know if that still works anymore. Let's maybe ask Gemini and see what Gemini says about that, because I'm very curious about that. In the Google Workspace Outlook synchronization tool, can I add a delegated mailbox to my Outlook data file? I'm very, very curious about this one. Because I know you used to be able to do it, but that's when it had a different name. Okay. Okay, you can still access a delegated Outlook email from Outlook after setting it online. You first grant delegation rights. Once it's granted, you can send mail on behalf of. Okay, so you can send mail on behalf of another mailbox, but that doesn't let you necessarily see the email. And I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. If I want to see the emails in the inbox and manage them collaboratively with my team, how would I do that? Thinking. Have a cup of tea. Okay. Google Groups is a collaborative inbox, blah, 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 blah. No, that doesn't work from Outlook. Create a group. They'll receive copies. Okay, all the collaborative features like assigning labels, blah, 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 is only available in the web. 2, mail delegation. No assignment, clouded inbox. I don't know about that. Goes to show Gemini doesn't have always the best information about Workspace. Okay, so what you're basically stuck with here is if you're using Outlook, the only way to get access to a secondary bunch of email that maybe a number of staff want to access is to use the password for that email mailbox and add it to your Outlook. Whoever else is accessing that is going to have to do the same thing as well. Now, that is not great for security, not my recommendation. I strongly recommend, if you're still on Outlook, go and do my course. Go to itgenius.com, go to our training section, free training, head down to 7 steps to inbox zero. This is an amazing course. It's a 45-minute video. It will rock your socks and tell you exactly how to get all of the best out of Gmail. And once you watch that, very few people still decide to stick with Outlook. Now, I understand if you've got something that you're synchronizing, or I should probably actually share my screen while I'm talking about the web. My poor editors are gonna have to clean all this stuff up. Anyway, but if you're still using Outlook because you've got it integrated with like a third-party app or system or something like that, I get it. That's pretty tough. And so my only recommendation is, can you find another app? Because once you switch to Gmail, everything gets better. And I've got to say, if you're still on Outlook, come on, it's 2025. It's time to change. It's time to change. All right, so I think I've answered that one. Pretty well. Let's just double check the question. Yeah, I'm pretty happy that I've answered that one correctly. All right, cool. So let me give it a bit of a summary. If you're on Outlook, you want to access shared mailboxes. The only way to do it is a little bit insecure. If you want to share mailboxes from the Gmail interface, you've got lots of different options, and we've got videos on the channel covering that. If you've got more questions about this, drop a comment down below, and I'll do my best to answer it. Okay, so Mike, collaboration will be better handled in chat. You can set up an email for chat space. Yes, that certainly works. But what I'm specifically referencing is the collaborative inbox for Gmail. So if you check that out, collaborative, there is an interesting feature. Oh, this is, hold on, that's a very old video. I don't know if that's the one we want. Let's mute that website. Google Groups. All right. It's one of these. Jeez, can't even find my own videos anymore. Anyway, but if you search for collaborative inbox, or here we go, this one, alias, distribution, shared mailboxes. Go ahead and check this out because there's a special collaborative inbox which actually gives you access to some extra features. Okay, let's go ahead and see what our next question is. All right, I have a 2-partner business and I would like each of us to have our own email addresses as well as a general email inbox. Another shared mailbox question. As well as a general email inbox for our customers that we both have access to. Do I need to set this up as 3 users? Okay, go and watch this video. Glenn, I love you, but go and watch the video. That I just go and search, find this video, and that's the one you got to watch. All right, how do I paste this? I think I can paste it in there. Oh no, that's the wrong account. Can I add my own comment? Oh, my commenting interface is not letting me add my own comment. All right, that's fine. That'll have to be another day. I'm sure you guys can search and Wait, let me move my camera out of the way. You guys can search and find that one. Okay. All right, my poor team. They're going to have what we call in Australia a shit show trying to clean up this for the channel. All right. Next question. If I'm a super admin and I want to make another user super admin and delete my user account, how do I do it? Okay, that's a great question. So this is from Nap79. Thank you for the question. To do anything relating to user accounts, of course, we're going to go to our admin panel, admin.google.com. Now, if I'm already a super administrator because I created the account, That gives me access to do anything that I want to do in the account. So there's nothing I need to change for me to have the power to update someone else's account. But to change someone else's account and promote them to a super administrator, I'm going to go to the directory, I'm going to go to users, and I'm going to find the user that I want to change. Now I happened to create a user earlier today, so I'm going to go find that user. Here we go, Peter Test 2. I'm going to open this account. And we're going to find admin roles and privileges. So we're going to go assign roles, and I'm going to assign the super admin role. Super easy, sits right at the top. I only have to tick that button. I don't have to mess with any of the others. And that makes this person a super administrator. Now that should happen pretty much instantaneously. And if I cycle through, I did have an incognito. No, I think I lost it. Okay, that's fine. Let's open up an incognito tab and see what it looks like as the other person. So we'll go to admin.google.com and we'll sign in. Oh, now, oh, shoot, I did the wrong one. All right, give me a second. Let's try again. I was too quick. All right, peter2@testgenius.co. See, muscle memory made me put the wrong one in. I've got a feeling that's the wrong password. Okay, that's the wrong password. I've got to go find the password now. So let me go and grab the password. Got to be careful not to share my screen while I do that. All right, so let's go back to our right place here. Okay, no, that's not the right place. That's the right place. All right, let's go ahead and sign in. Now, the first time you sign in as a super admin, it gives you this additional warning. It's asking me to sign in for two-factor authentication. You don't have access. Ah, now this is interesting. So it's forcing me to enable two-factor authentication before I access the admin panel, which is a good idea. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's add a pass key is usually the easiest way to do that. It's going to use your fingerprint or your face to authenticate you. Very, very easy. Okay, cool. So let's try again, admin.google.com. Switch to my second account. You don't have access. Pretty sure I do. Pretty sure I do. Oh, okay. I just enabled that. Look, I've got a pass key there. What's going on? Let's try this. All right. I think we're a bit too fast for Google today. Okay, you're all set. All right. Turn on. What? All right, I got a feeling. Let's try it. Let's try another one. That one may be corrupted. It says it's not yet used. You already have a passkey on this device. Oh boy. All right. Well, we're gonna have to use our imaginations, folks. Don't think that anybody's immune to things not working. All right. So what we're gonna do is imagine we're the second user and we want to delete the first user, right? So we're gonna go to a user. Gonna go to users. From memory, you don't even need to make them you don't even need to demote them from administrator. You just go find the user and you go delete them. So I'm going to delete this user. It's going to ask, do you want to migrate their mail, blah, blah, blah. If you want to learn more about offboarding, head along to the channel and search for the word offboarding. And you'll find I've got a number of videos on how to properly offboard accounts in Google Workspace. Recommend you check those out. Yeah, let's say we don't transfer data. Boom, gone, deleted. Now, it takes a second for them to disappear from the list. It's just one of those Google admin things. Seems like it's even still taking its time deleting down the bottom. Waiting, waiting, waiting. All right, do a refresh. And hopefully that user is gone. They are gone. Done, done, done. Easy. See how easy that was? Super easy. So if you want to delete as super administrator, as long as you have another super administrator in the account, not really much that can go wrong. Google did previously have a primary admin, but I think they got rid of that a while ago. I don't think it's needed anymore. Yeah, and I don't want to confuse people. All right, so I'm not going to do that. But if you're an administrator for Google Workspace and you're worried about something going wrong with your Google account, or someone hacking into your account, or a business partner, or, don't laugh, but a spouse getting in there and deleting your account and then you not being able to access it anymore, my strong recommendation is that you consider working with a partner. So if you head along to itgenius.com, you can get started with Concierge, very affordable for all businesses, and that will get you access to transfer your billing into IT Genius for your Workspace account. Now, we don't make much money. We charge the same price that Google does. We buy it at a very, very, very small discount from Google. But what that means is that we have access to your account as a reseller. It's kind of like we've got a backdoor into your account. And even if you are locked out of your account, we can still get in and get you access. If you don't want us to access your account, that's fine. You don't have to have us access your account. You can click a button in your admin panel and we won't be able to access it. But if there comes a time when you're locked out, it's faster for us to get in than it is for you to get in, because we're a reseller and we have access to Google support, and we can get access to levels of support that normal people off the street can't get access to. So if you're interested in that, we'd love to have you as a customer. We'd love to build a relationship with you. First, check out all the training on our website, get to know us and how we roll. If you like that, click the button down below, sign up for a concierge plan, get started with us, and we would love to have you in there and support your business. Okay, let's move on to our next question. Lots of stuff to cover. Lots of questions. Now, let me check if there's any new ones that have come through while we've been on stream. No, same. Okay, I'll come back to those. Okay. Can you please do a video on enabling Chrome browser JSON configuration management in Workplace? I'm stuck and lost. Google provides a lot of info with very little actual context. The ultimate goal is to get multi-profile across running. Oh, I saw this one come in. Without uploading to the original profile on LTS. Now, from memory, Lacrosse. I'm really sorry to David who put this in, because I know you tried chatting to the team as well. I saw the lead form come in. My understanding is that this is being phased out. Oh my god, I'm getting it in Spanish. Here we go. My understanding was that this is being phased out. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong. Also, this is outside my pay grade. I'm really sorry to say. This is not an area that I'm familiar with at all, and I can't personally help. Maybe some of the nerds on our team can help. I got a feeling the sales team probably said no, we can't help. Maybe some of the team can help, but this is not really my area of expertise. What I would recommend is Reddit. Head along to the Reddit forums for Google Workspace and for Chrome, because I know this is related to Chrome OS. I would also recommend maybe the Google product forums, but they're not always super helpful. I'm sorry I can't be more help with this one. I wish I could. All right. In your video, Gmail's not receiving emails. What about if you're using a smartphone and you're not getting email through the app, but you are getting Gmail email through your PC? Okay, well, that is a very interesting question. The most common issue I see when people have problems with email delivery to their phones, if email is working fine somewhere else, is they're using a different app to Gmail. They're using Apple Mail, they're using Outlook, they're using something else that's not the Gmail app. I've never, in supporting literally tens of thousands of customers, I've never seen the Gmail app not have your email. If you open it up and you sign in, I've never seen the Gmail app not have someone's email. So I'm guessing this person is maybe using an app that's not the Gmail app. And maybe you think, no, Peter, it's the Mail app. I signed in with my Gmail account. Not necessarily the Gmail app. That might be the Apple Mail app that's just synchronized to your Gmail account. Now, this is the kind of thing that I've got to remind my mom and my dad about over and over and over again. Just because you sign in with your Google account doesn't necessarily mean it's the Google app. The Gmail app which will be in the App Store if you're on iOS, or it'll be by default on your Android device, is the best app for everything. And while I'm there, the calendar app is the best calendar app to use. The Google Chat app is better than, I don't know, integrating with something else. I'm not even sure if you can with chat. Use Google Drive, use the official Google apps, and you're going to have a much better experience across the board, and it's going to be much more reliable. I struggle to see why someone would not be getting Gmail on their phone via the Gmail app if they're getting it on the computer. But if I'm wrong, hey, comment below this video. I'll give you another answer. All right. Good question, though. Good question. Okay. I'm sending emails to my clients from my business email, but some of them are not getting my emails. Some are getting them. Actually, my domain had malware. That's not good. That's why hosting blocked the emails, but after cleaning my website, I'm still facing this issue. Okay. So if you're having mail delivery issues, and there's a question, by the way, all over the place today. Okay. So if you're having mail delivery issues, there's a few obvious things that you can check. I have a number of guides on the channel which specifically cover if you have a Workspace account or if you have a Google Gmail personal consumer account, how to check for emails that are incoming. Now, if you're sending emails, by far, most of that advice can be followed as well, specifically relating to DNS settings. If you don't have your business domain name configured correctly for your DKIM, SPF, DMARC records, sometimes your emails are not going to land in people's inboxes, and that solves most problems. But this person mentioned something interesting, and that was blacklisting. And when you have malware on your domain, that's typically blacklist related, and you might be wondering, well, what is a blacklist? Well, that's the reputation of your domain name, and this is public information, and it's kind of one of those systems that works in the background of the world's IT email infrastructure that you never really need to know about until something goes wrong. Now, this person said they had something go wrong. They had malware on the domain, and I assume that means like a website that was hacked and sending spam emails from their web server. But how do you check if your email is healthy or if it's blacklisted? Thankfully, there's plenty of tools that let you do that. And my favorite email tool is MX Toolbox. Been using this for a very long time. I think we should make them a channel sponsor. We're going to go to our toolbox here. Look at that. They've even got a link right at the top of the page. So you click on blacklists and you type in your domain name. So I'm going to type in IT Genius. Whoops, I did a little typo there. itgenius.com, and it's going to tell me if I am on any of the public blacklists. Now, if there's a timeout, don't worry too much about that. It just means that server didn't respond to the tool in time. What you're looking for, if you've got problems, is are there any that have an actual report of, yes, you are on the blacklist? That would mean that you've got email reputation problems. Now, how do you fix your email reputation? Well, obviously, first you have to stop the spam, wherever that's coming from. Usually that's a hacked website. Sometimes it's a compromised computer. But these days, because Gmail runs on the web, it's pretty rare if you're running Google Workspace to run into blacklisting issues. Now, one of the things we monitor for our customers on concierge plans is your status on blacklists. And if you end up on a blacklist, we actually get an alert and we reach out proactively to you to help you resolve the problem. One of the perks of being on concierge, and if you're interested in that, head along to itgenius.com and check out our plans. But if you want to remove yourself from a blacklist after you've finished cleaning up the site and stopping the source of the emails being sent out from your domain erroneously, you do have the option of either just waiting a couple of days and eventually they'll recheck the blacklist and it'll be cleared, or you can reach out to each one of these blacklist providers that have your domain listed, and you usually fill out a form of some sort and let them know, hey, yes, I took remediating actions and I'm no longer spamming from this domain. Please remove me from your blacklist. Now, the moment you end up on a blacklist, you basically will have trouble sending email to anyone because most email providers will read all of these blacklists when they're choosing to receive your email or not from your domain. It's their way of making sure that they keep inboxes clean for everyone that they're delivering mail to, and no one likes to receive spam. So if someone's a known spammer, you don't want their emails going into your inbox. So this is a good system. It's pretty efficient. Just be careful where your email address ends up. And if you're using modern cloud hosting and you've got Cloudflare sitting in front of your website, it's pretty unlikely for sites to be hacked. Excuse me. It's pretty unlikely for sites to be hacked these days, unless you're sitting on an insecure server and you haven't updated WordPress in 3 years and it's got out-of-date plugins. Okay, yeah, sure. Then maybe you'll get in trouble. But for the most part, if you're using Google Workspace, you're using Cloudflare in front of your website, you're using WordPress and it's up to date, and you've got a reputable web host, you're probably going to be okay. Good luck out there. All right, good question. That was a good one. I haven't had one about that in a while. All right. Email reputation. Oh, and I should mention, of course, it goes without saying, if you want help fixing your DNS, we have a quick fix available on our website. Head along to itgenius.com. Go to, I gotta log out. All right, head along to itgenius.com. Clear your cache. Log out. Damn it. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Head along to itgenius.com, go to quick fix, and our number one most popular product here, why does that look so small? There we go, that's better, is DNS setup and fix. It's 300 Australian dollar dues, and we will fix whatever DNS or mail delivery issues that you have. And there, if you're in the good United States of America, that's only $80 or something. It's very, 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 very affordable. So go check that out. Okie dokie, let's look at our next question. All right. Good question. Good question. Amy, great question. What are the most important security settings to enable? Now, I feel like I've done this video 300 times, but for those who are new to the channel, I'm going to do this one again because I really like this. There are a few basic security settings to make sure you get right in your Google Workspace account to protect you and to protect your staff. And by far, I don't know how many times I've said this on the channel, but by far, if you do one thing and then listen to nothing else of this video, I don't care if you click off after this, enforce two-factor authentication. Please, enforce two-factor authentication. I'm going to say it one more time. Enforce two-factor authentication. You do this one thing and you will remove 80% of threats to Google Workspace, because it's trivially easy to come across someone's username and password combination for an email address. They are all over the internet because sites get hacked all the time, and us humans are pretty lazy, and many of us reuse our passwords. Now, if you're super diligent and you have a password manager and you have a different password for every website you access, okay, sure, maybe you're a little bit more immune to that. But are you immune to clicking on a link and putting your Google username and password in accidentally to something that you didn't realize was Google's website? Maybe not, because it gets me almost sometimes. So how do you switch it on? Let's go and switch it on. You do this and you're going to be pretty safe. And I'm going to take you through some other stuff as well, but let's do the important stuff. So we go into our admin panel, and when we're inside our admin panel, we're going to go to our, where are we going? Security. And then we're going to go to authentication and then two-step verification. The most important thing that you need to know here is, number one, switch it on for everyone in the company. Number two, I recommend if you're switching it on for the first time, you don't enforce it immediately. You give your team a bit of time to switch it on. So give them about a week or two to get it set up. Next, my recommendation is to give them a week of grace period to enroll. Next, you can choose, what's this? Allow users to trust the device. Yes, obviously. Okay, great. Next, my recommendation would be to allow anything except for text and phone call. And I'm just going to say to my editors watching this, just snip the bit from 45 minutes ago and insert it in here where I explained all this stuff. Hit save, and then you're good to go. Okay, so what else can you do for security? Well, this one's going to get a bit technical, but it's important to have your DNS settings correct. I've got lots of videos on the channel on how to get your DNS settings done, how to check them, and even how to get them set up if you need to set them up correctly. But the fundamentals are DKIM, SPF, and DMARC. And those are three security protocols that act like a little bit of a bouncer for your emails. So if someone's trying to email you pretending to be someone else, or someone's trying to use your email address pretending to be you, trying to spam someone else, well, it blocks them from all of those things happening. That's probably the second most common issue we see in businesses. And it's not necessarily that Gmail is insecure. It's not even that it's insecure for you to send or receive emails in and out of your business. What might happen is someone pretending to be you, emailing your staff, asking your staff to pay money into a supplier account, which happens to be a different account, and telling you, oh my God, this supplier is going to cut us off if we don't quickly send them some money. And these scams are so sophisticated, they're probably going to use the name of one of your real suppliers, because if they're already into your email, they've already got your supplier names. At that point, well, you might just slip up and give the wrong person a whole bunch of money. Now, to prevent that from happening, DKIM, DMARC, and SPF go a long way to protecting emails coming in and emails going out of your business. It blocks a whole bunch of emails from even landing in your team's inboxes, meaning that a lot of those kind of scams won't even make it in front of your staff. Make sure you get your DNS right and you'll be safe. Okay, let's think. What else could we do for security? I've got another good idea. Something that I really like to do for high profile websites in my business is to set managed bookmarks for those websites. It means that no one's going to accidentally open up a new browser tab, type in a typo of a high profile site, and land on a fake site. If you train your team to use a managed bookmarks menu, then they're more likely to be in the habit of accessing the right link every time because you've dictated it, and they're less likely to accidentally go to the wrong place. So we manage bookmarks inside our Chrome browser settings. So if you go to Chrome and then settings, this will work on a Mac, on a PC, on a Chromebook, anywhere that you're signed into Chrome, which is great. So first up, I'm going to choose who I want these to be applied to. Typically, you're going to be applying it to the main top level organizational unit here, which means it applies it to the whole company. If you want to apply it just to a certain group of staff and you've got other units set up, then you can apply it to a certain group. Now I go ahead and search here for bookmarks. And you can see here on the menu is managed bookmarks. It's even got some little icons to let me know that this will even work on iPhone and Android devices as well, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so here we have a list of bookmarks that I've created, and I can go ahead and add an additional bookmark if I like. And as I said, I recommend you adding any important website that may have important financial information. I mean, Canva.com probably doesn't, but you get what I'm saying. Anything that's important, that's critical to your team, go ahead and add it to the list here. Hit save, and this might take a couple of minutes to deploy down to your staff, but it's really easy to set up and update. And once that's been saved, I can look in the top of my browser in the top left-hand corner. Apologies, it's a little bit small on the live stream. I can click there and it will show me all of the links that I've designated, and that will be pushed down to all of my team automatically. Now, you can see the one I just created, Canva, has already been dropped in. So there you go. We've got the Canva website working, and thank you, Google, for being efficient with deploying your policies. There are a couple of things to set up for your account if you're interested in better security for Google Workspace. You know what? Why don't I test myself? I'm gonna ask Gemini, see if there's anything I maybe missed, because it is over an hour into this live stream and I'm starting to drop my energy a little bit. In Google Workspace, at some point it might just be those questions going into an AI bot. Maybe we don't need Pete anymore one day. We'll see. Okay, fortify your digital fortress. All right, let's see. I think they might have stolen that from us, but anyway. Okay, enforce two-step. Principal of least privilege. Yeah, fair enough. Separate admin account. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, cool. Separate admin account. Okay. So if you're a small business owner, you're probably the super administrator for your Google Workspace account. That is not a great idea. What is much smarter is setting up a separate super administrator account, which you only use when you need to log in and change important settings inside Workspace. If you have access to an admin account and you're using it day to day, number one, you might accidentally click the wrong button and change a setting that breaks something. No offense, but that does happen sometimes. Number two, it's good practice to keep a separate account, because if you're using an account every day, it's going to be much more vulnerable to someone potentially snooping your username and password combination and getting access to your account. Obviously, if you're a director of the business and you're the person on the website, you are the first person that somebody's going to target if they're trying to break into an account. So if you've got the keys to the whole kingdom, well, that gives someone access to absolutely everything, and that's not really ideal. So setting a super administrator account as an alternative account doesn't have to necessarily be expensive. You can do that with a free cloud identity account. Now, I've got some guides on how to set that up on the channel, but effectively it lets you create an account where you have a user, but they don't have a mailbox. They will have access to the admin panel, but they won't have access to Google Drive, Mail, Chat, Calendar, all the other things. But you don't pay for a license, which is a really, really nice feature. Thank you, Google, for that. That would be a recommendation on where to set up your admin user separate to your business owner user. And you set up the admin, you give them super administrator privileges, and then you log in as that admin and you go back to your account and you remove your administrative privileges. Now, you might decide, from time to time for convenience, you want the ability to reset someone's password, right? You don't want to have to go into that admin account every single time you got to deploy a new user or set up a password. If you wanted to, you could give yourself the user management permission, and that will allow you to deploy new users, like when a new staff member is starting, and also do things like reset passwords, which is useful as well, or even suspend accounts when you need someone to be offboarded. So don't think it has to be an all or nothing thing with your settings. As much as possible, the super admin account, yeah, sure, you want to keep that away, but you can use your own account for some basic administration, or if you want to be extra safe, nothing at all. Let someone else do the administration. If you're a customer of IT Genius, we can do the administration for you as well. If you sign up to Concierge, head to our website and check out the plans, see which one suits you. You can go to our team, ask them to get virtual assistant style technical tasks done for you. Want a new user added, we'll take care of it for you. Offboarding someone and want to save all of their data and archive their emails, we can take care of that for you as well. Got a spreadsheet and need help with a formula, want to connect two different apps together using Zapier, all of those things our team can handle. And if you're interested in an audit or a review of your business, head along to the website, check out the audit page or the consultation link, and you'll be able to chat to our team. All right, cool. Great question. Thanks, Gemini, for the help. What do we got here? Audit, two-step verification. I mean, this has got to be mandatory for everyone. But just in case you've not yet set this up, head to your admin panel, go to security, go to password management, and switch on strong passwords. Oh my God, it's not set up on the test account. That's funny. Okay, I don't think you need 14 characters. 8 or 10 is probably fine. I don't have enough cryptographic knowledge to know what the actual minimum should be, but I think 10 is probably fine. And allow password reuse, I would say no. Now, if you really want to have passwords expire, I won't go into the details, but it's a tiny bit redundant these days. It doesn't hurt to cycle them once a year, but probably wouldn't bother any more frequently than that. That's one for another video, and I'll probably bore you with that, so I won't go through that. Okay, let's go ahead and click save. Great. Okay, that's done. What else did I miss? Yeah, data governance sharing. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, let's do that. Well, I'm just going to use Gemini for my videos now. Okay, so this is a very good point. By default, well, you know what? There's two more things. This is going to end up being a long video. All right, so there's two more things you can do. One is restricting file sharing. So by default, when you share files in Google Drive, sometimes, depending on when your Google Workspace account was created, sometimes some companies have the default option where the default file creation is set so that either files are public or files are available to everybody in your business. And that is not ideal at all. It's not good security practice because the principle of least privilege means you should only share exactly what people need and nothing more willy-nilly. So it's a bit odd that for a long time Google had this as the default setting inside Google Drive. If you go to Google Drive, if you search for access default and then choose to make that private to the owner as the default, that will mean that when you create a new file in Google Drive, if you hit that share button, it'll say restricted to only the person who's created it and those who you decide to share it with manually. Okay, cool. Let me see what else we might do. I mean, if you want to go hardcore, you can stop people from like sharing files externally and those kind of things, but usually that's a little bit of overkill for most businesses, because most people end up, needing to share stuff externally, unless you're a bank or super large organization. The other one I would recommend you check out is calendar settings. And this is more privacy rather than security, but it's still a good idea to check out. So by default, calendars are also shared with every single person inside the business. And this is a setting that you can go ahead and update. When it bloody loads. Here we go. Okay, great. So where is the sharing? Why have they made this so much more complicated? Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the most important setting for you to change. External sharing options for primary calendars. So set the ability for people to share their calendars or not. So I recommend restricting this to only free or busy. And what this means is when you have a calendar in Google Calendar and you have a bunch of events sitting on your calendar and you decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to share this calendar with someone. You can share it with anyone in the company. That's fine. It's not really much of a risk unless you're an executive and you don't want to hide. You don't want to show everything to your team. Yeah, sure. Maybe you'll lock down what your colleagues can see by choosing to only share free and busy information, right? But if you're sharing with someone outside the company, or importantly, if your staff are sharing their calendars with someone outside the company, what this setting controls is what is the most that someone is able to share. Now, by default, you can actually share quite a bit. If you share outside the company, I don't know why, but it seems to be locked down here. Maybe it's locked down to my organizational unit. But by default, you can actually share quite a lot. You can share the ability to make changes. But the one that concerns me for privacy is you can share all event details. And what that means is if your staff share their own calendar, maybe to their Gmail account, but that Gmail account is on a shared computer, like maybe they're sharing it with their spouse and their kids at home, anyone who can access that computer can see your company information and potentially your client information in those calendar events that are now on another computer that you don't control and you can't protect. So my strong recommendation would be to lock down this setting to only free busy information. And it means that the maximum they can share outside the company is if they're busy or not. That's it. Now that's useful enough for a spouse or for someone else to know, what's going on and where you're at. If you really want to share a calendar outside the company, maybe you lock it down to just an organizational unit. And I'm going to open my organizational unit here. Here we go. I've locked this down just in my org unit. That makes sense. I'm only supposed to do demos in my own org unit. I'm the boss, so I go wherever I want. But this is what is set for my account here. If I really want to collaborate on a folder with my spouse or family or friends or colleagues or clients or whatever, have them create the calendar and share it to me with full access, and then I can add events to it and change it. I can still accept a share of a calendar. I just can't share company data outside the company. All right, cool. That's a great one. I really like that. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right, I'm going to call it there. It's gym time for me. I'm getting a little bit tired as well. I will do another stream soon. We've got a Google Updates stream coming. Look out for that. Because let me tell you, we've got months and months of updates that I've not yet covered. Yeah, let me know what you think of this one. Drop a comment down below. Say hello. If you're watching the restream or the repeat, please drop a comment down as well. I read every single comment that comes through. Can't respond to every single one, but I do read every single one. And I want to say thanks for being part of the channel. We're here to help you systemize, organize, and scale your business. We're here to help you be a success. If you haven't already, head along to itgenius.com. Check out our free training. Look out for new stuff coming soon. The training is here. There's a free health check. You can also do a free consultation with our team as well. The consultation is going away a little bit soon, so if you want one of them, you should probably jump on that quickly. And yeah, of course, if you're interested in working more closely with us, then go ahead and you know what to do. Click the button, start chatting to our team. We've got a great bot here. It'll be AI first, and then there are humans behind the bot as well. So go ahead and say hello to our team if you need any help. You can log in for free. You don't even need to be a customer. Log in for free, get access to free training and everything else that is there, with more being added all the time. So keep watch on that. Okay, I'm going to say see you later, guys. Thanks so much for having me, and we'll see you in the next one.